Good afternoon and thanks for joining us. It was a scary situation this morning when a plane came in for landing at the Saskatoon airport. The airport confirmed that around 8:30 this morning there was an incident upon landing involving a Cessna 310. No injuries were reported, but the aircraft was immobilized on the secondary runway where crews worked to remove the plane and take it to a nearby facility. The airport did not specify exactly what caused the issue, but did share that YXE Airport remains fully operational. Power has been restored to communities in northeastern Saskatchewan after a severe weekend storm left thousands in the dark. Fallen trees and high winds brought down power lines over the weekend, causing widespread power outages. Sask Power says it was the highest number of outages Saskatchewan has seen in 4 years, with about 50,000 customers affected. The village of Aylsham, just southeast of Nipawin, declared a local state of emergency yesterday due to the prolonged power outages and damage to its municipal water system. Sask Power says as of late yesterday afternoon, power has been restored to all communities in the northeast. A man RCMP were looking for in connection to the alleged abduction of a woman has been arrested. 31-year-old Kevin Watt is charged with 1 count of kidnapping with a gun and failing to comply with legally imposed conditions. He was arrested yesterday in Lloydminster. RCMP had issued a warrant for his arrest after a woman was taken from the Loon Lake area on Monday. She has since been found, and Watt appeared in court this morning. RCMP have charged 2 people in connection to a shooting in Melfort earlier this month that left 1 person seriously injured. On July 7th, police say a fight between a group of people on 1st Avenue South resulted in 2 men being shot. One of the victims' injuries were serious, the others were considered non-life-threatening. The next day, RCMP searched a home and seized a crossbow and a gun, ammunition, cocaine, and drug trafficking equipment. Officers also found 2 loaded guns in a vehicle. 2 men are facing a string of charges in connection to the case. A trial date for the owner of a school that was occupied by the self-proclaimed Queen of Canada has been set for early next year. Ricky Mans is charged with failing to comply with a release order, intimidation of a justice system participant, and failing to comply with an undertaking. He also faces 7 other charges related to previous matters. Mans allowed group leader Romana Didulo and her followers to occupy the former school in Richmond for nearly 2 years. The 4-day trial is set to begin January 5th in Swift Current. All right, Jeff, there was a sort of a hint of rain or maybe a thought of rain today in the area, but I don't know if we got much, if at all. If we did, I was out for a bit of a brief walk this afternoon, and yeah, it was like, I mean, a few drops, and I think that's all we received, John. But there's some instability out there, and not a surprise that we're going to be starting to see some of these isolated showers moving into Saskatchewan. We're already in Saskatchewan, but they will continue to move into Saskatchewan, and the severity, or at least the possible severity of those storms increases as we roll into tomorrow. So right now you can certainly see a lot of reflectivity on the radar, and we'll interpret some of those indications a little later on. Saskatchewan hopes to capitalize on another AI opportunity with a major expansion in Saskatoon. Siemens EDA, one of the first tech companies to use AI to automate building computer chips, is adding another 10,000 square feet to its footprint in Saskatoon. The company says this will bring its site to around 45,000 square feet and allow the company to grow from 300 to 400 employees. What once started out as a small 350 square foot office will be a global hub in designing computer chips that are being relied on more and more with AI data consumption. With semiconductors now being a $1 trillion industry, the company and the province are happy to see Saskatchewan's largest tech company choose to grow here and not somewhere else.
We are proving that you don't need to be in Silicon Valley to do the work in technology that has a massive global impact.
Those microchips that power everything from smartphones to vehicles to critical infrastructure that are ultimately ensuring the sovereignty of our nations. Saskatchewan is well positioned to be a part of that supply chain and to meet that demand.
About 80% of the workforce at Siemens EDA are graduates from the University of Saskatchewan, something the company says it's looking to continue with its expansion. A Saskatchewan man has been ordered to pay $150,000 for things he wrote on Facebook. In 2020, Jack Harper made posts accusing Deborah Perry, the administrator for the RM of Pleasantdale, of theft and lying. A Melfort judge found all the statements to be untrue and defamatory. Harper has been ordered to pay $150,000 in damages. Harper had the option to settle by writing an apology and paying $5,000, but he failed to show up to court on 3 separate occasions.
You can't be posting on the internet that a person whose job is being trusted by the public to administer a municipality is a thief or a liar or misallocating funds, when those things just aren't true. And there has to be some consequences for that.
Miller says the ruling sends a message that making defamatory social media posts have consequences. He says municipal administrators in Saskatchewan are frequently targeted online. The unusual weather this spring has created a surprise at Saskatoon's berry barn. Berries have ripened early and picking is in full swing for anyone looking to get a pail. Here on Valley Road, customers are making the most of the short Saskatoon berry picking window. One customer filled more than half a bucket in less than half an hour, saying the berries look great this year. Berry Barn co-owner Grant Erlinson says the weather changed things almost overnight, turning what started as a slow season into a busy rush for families hoping to stock up. In 29 years, he says he's never seen this rapid ripening situation, largely due to some rain earlier this month.
We got 2 or 3 inches there in a couple days over a weekend, and then we got the hot, humid weather, and things just exploded.
They're so plump this year. Like, they're pretty plump last year, but they're much better this year, I'd say.
People are urged to get picking soon because most of the crop is expected to shrivel up before the beginning of August. The largest active wildfire in Saskatchewan has burned more than 15,000 hectares. The number of active wildfires in the province is down to 44 this week. Last week, there were 71. The SPSA says crews were able to contain parts of the border fire and are now focusing on new areas and protecting values. Crews are working to limit the spread of the Bud fire southeast of Lac La Ronge by back burning. Cabin owners and other property owners, as well as lodge operators in the area, should monitor the smoke forecast. The southeast short-term flooding issues in Beanfate and Estevan after a significant overnight rainfall. The storm was too much for the pump system in Beanfate, causing flash flooding. Environment Canada has not given an exact rainfall total. The town is applying for provincial disaster relief. In nearby Estevan, there was less rain but power outages in parts of the city that lasted until this morning. Farmers dealing with flooded or saturated fields may be eligible for support from Farm Credit Canada. FCC says supports may also apply to delayed field operations due to severe weather. Customers who may have been impacted by weather events this farming season are encouraged to check out the FCC website or contact their office to find out what options are available. The union representing thousands of WestJet flight attendants says its members voted overwhelmingly in favor of a strike mandate.
I know for our flight attendants this isn't easy, but we don't really have a choice. We need unpaid work addressed. We need to stop being amongst the lowest paid flight attendants in Canada, considering we're the second largest airline. We did what we had to do, but we remain committed to reaching an agreement at the bargaining table, because the last thing we want to do is go on strike. That's the absolute last thing we want to do.
Over 99% of members that voted were in favor of strike authorization. The union says from the beginning its goal was to achieve a negotiated agreement and minimize any impact on travelers. But the strike vote became necessary to move the process forward. Following a mandatory 21-day cooling off period, cabin crew could go on strike as early as August 2nd, right in the middle of August long weekend. CUPE 8125 President Alia Hussein called on WestJet to return to the bargaining table with a new focus. Hussein says she doesn't want to see the federal government get involved by introducing back-to-work legislation like what happened with Air Canada employees last summer.
It's an unbelievable signal from our membership that they stand behind their bargaining committee to negotiate a collective agreement that reflects the value of their contributions to WestJet's success.
The union representing flight attendants for WestJet votes in favor of strike authorization, and a strike could come in the middle of the August long weekend. When we come back, see downtown Prince Albert in a completely new light. The Historical Society has a brand new downtown walking tour available this summer. Prince Albert's downtown is absolutely beautiful, and it's got a ton of history. So with that in mind, Jerry McKelvey here with the Prince Albert Historical Society, you guys have come up with a downtown walking tour. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
So this is a new tour from our previous tour, because as buildings and other artifacts disappear, we have to reroute. And so this is a brand new tour. If you've been on the old tour, you might want to come take this one in. It's Thursdays and Sundays at 2 p.m. And I don't know if you can hear the chatter, but I think a group is getting ready to head out. Start here at the museum. You can phone ahead and book your tour, or you can just drop in before 2 o'clock and join the group that's heading out.
Do you ever have, I mean, I'm sure this probably happens every single tour, but do you have people say, I thought I knew everything there was to know about Prince Albert, the downtown, anything, and then they go, I never knew that, or I never knew 4 or 5 of the points that you shared with us?
That's one of my favorite things, is to hear people say, I never knew that. And sometimes, you know, they are able to add a little bit to what we're already sharing, and they'll be able to fill in some blanks for us. So, yeah. And it's only $2 per person for the tour.
And do you ever have someone who says, actually, that's my grandparents or whoever who helped build that?
Yes, we get that a lot. We have people say, oh, I remember coming here as a kid. I came with my dad or my grandpa, and this is what I know about this place from personal experience. And so that really adds to the tour as well.
And there's no real cap on registration or anything like that, as long as they can fit on the sidewalk?
That's right. Yeah, everyone's welcome.
All right. Now, if you're looking for information on that one, is the best, what's the phone number here at the Historical Museum?
306-764-2992.
And you can bug Jerry McKelvey, and she'll give you all the details on the walking tour. After a short break, Jeff is back with your midweek weather forecast, and a new study looks at the long-term brain health impacts of playing soccer. All right, Jeff, that little jet hose spray that we were talking about earlier in the week has kind of made its way eastward. And so what do we have going on in the sky today?
Well, we've certainly got that instability we talked about earlier on, John, and certainly the instability is going to be sticking around, and the potential for thunderstorms. It moves around, but it's still in play for today and tomorrow. So certainly we still have possibilities of some thunderstorm activity along the Saskatchewan-Alberta border, particularly down in southern Alberta and in northern areas of the province. And then that sort of shifts over a little bit. The greatest area of intensity will make its way in from central Alberta into parts of northern areas, but it's still in play in terms of the instability. We could still see some showers, and a different sort of situation for other parts of Canada. Could be some stormy situations for Ottawa and Montreal tomorrow morning. But here we go with our futurecast, and certainly indicating that, yes, the greatest area of intensity in terms of these storms certainly looks like it's going to be north of Prince Albert, or just clipping the Prince Albert area. But we'll keep our eye on all of that. And we don't expect much in the way of wind, and it is going to be another hot and humid situation. For the most part, in the northern part of our, in and around the areas around Prince Albert, temperatures hovering around 15 degrees in the overnight period. And then as we take a look at tomorrow, well, it's hot again, seasonal or warmer. 26 degrees for Spirit Woods, mainly cloudy skies. Ditto that for Candle Lake and Roster, and mainly sunny in the Battlefords. 28 degrees, 25 on the plus side for Birch Hills, 24 in Nipawin, and 24 in Melfort. A bit more cloud cover in Melfort at 24 degrees. So tonight for Prince Albert area, 16 degrees the overnight temperature. So not exactly great conditions if you don't have air conditioning or a good fan. We've got ourselves about a 60% chance of showers and a risk of a thunderstorm. The winds do back off. And then tomorrow they pick up ever so slightly. Winds out of the west at 15, mainly cloudy skies, and 26 degrees for a high under, as I mentioned, mainly cloudy conditions. That's pretty much the case throughout the region. Then 29 degrees on Friday, a 40% chance chance of showers. 28 on Saturday with mainly cloudy skies, and then a chance of showers and a risk of thunderstorms on Sunday and Monday. Temperatures of around 23 or 24 degrees, and then 24 on Tuesday with mainly sunny skies, and 26 on Wednesday under mainly cloudy skies. So the temperatures don't vary a lot, staying in the 20s, and yeah, the chance of some showers is certainly there.
Yeah, you definitely do feel the humidity in the air, though, and I can't tell if that's just we're going to be starting to feel more like Ontario or those coastal regions, or if it's just from all the rain that's been falling.
I think that it's a possibility that, yes, we're dealing with all that heat. Because we have the heat and we have all that moisture on the ground, it starts to evaporate and certainly makes things feel a little more sticky.
All right, Jeff, there you go. Well, we're going to do some classic sports now to cool off with Matt Young.
We often hear about cold games in football, but this one was one of the warmest. On July 28, 2007, the Riders played host to Edmonton with a game-time temperature of 34 degrees. It's tied for the second warmest game-time temperature for a Rider home game on record. And the heat didn't seem to bother the Rough Riders. The Green Machine scored 34 points in the first half, including 2 touchdowns from Matt Dominguez. The special teams also stepped up in the form of a blocked punt return by Kyle Mitchell. Kerry Joseph also got a touchdown as well. Everything was going right for Saskatchewan, who cruised to victory over their division rivals, winning 54-14. Perhaps a sign of things to come, as later that year the Riders would go on to win their 3rd Grey Cup in franchise history and host a parade where temperatures were much, much cooler. And if you want to check out more classic sports moments from the days of Wilco and wood finish televisions, you can check them out on our website.
Do you have a community event you would like to promote? Or maybe you'd like to draw attention to your organization. Let your local CTV station help you spread the word. Contact us at 306-922-6020 or email panews@ctv.ca. You can appear on CTV Prince Albert's News at 5 and get your message to our viewers.
Health officials in Ontario are watching the spread of an illness linked to contaminated food, which has made hundreds of people sick in the United States. Alexandra Holick with the advice experts are offering to keep people healthy.
Whether it's a leafy green or summer berries, washing your produce seems like standard procedure. But even a thorough rinse can't compete with a microscopic parasite causing major problems. It's called Cyclospora, and it's spreading rapidly across the United States.
It can contaminate water or fresh fruits and vegetables when that human feces becomes in contact with those items, typically through contaminated irrigation water.
The bug is usually found in subtropical regions like South America, Asia, the Caribbean, and Africa. Common culprits include lettuce, cilantro, basil, green onions, raspberries, and snow peas, to name a few.
Particularly those that have non-smooth surfaces, so things with nooks and crannies.
You wouldn't be able to tell if it landed on your plate, and the good news is the infection isn't deadly. But symptoms similar to other foodborne illnesses can show up within a couple of days and last a couple of months.
Mostly people complain about fairly severe, sometimes explosive diarrhea, and that can make people very ill.
Here in Canada, it's not uncommon to see a handful of cyclosporiasis cases every year. While health officials are closely monitoring the situation north and south of the border, they're also urging travelers to stay safe.
If you're going into the U.S. right now, to avoid uncooked fruit and vegetables.
Choose instead fresh fruits that have smooth surfaces, things like grapes, or perhaps rinds that could be peeled.
With the outbreak happening in the U.S. and still no root cause, health officials here say this could be another reason to buy locally grown fruits and vegetables to prevent the chance of picking up that parasite from imported produce. Alexandra Holick, CTV News, Kitchener.
In British Columbia, there are fewer people dying from drug overdoses, even as cases are at an all-time high.
It may not be such strong respiratory depression leading to a death, but it may be that someone is knocked out for several hours.
The BC Coroner's Service reported 109 people died in May from using unregulated drugs. It's the lowest monthly total since February of 2020. Paramedics, however, say they have responded to more overdose calls in the first 6 months of the year than all of 2020. Experts say the reason behind the divide can be explained by increased access to naloxone, use of supervised consumption sites, and a less lethal mix of drugs. A new study testing the brain health of former professional soccer players found increased levels of depression, anxiety, and difficulty making decisions in midlife than the general population. The study looked at 142 former professional soccer players between the age of 30 and 60 using brain scans, questionnaires, and clinical assessments. Researchers found no significant impact to cognition skills like memory or attention, but they did find lower gray matter in memory, decision-making, and emotional regulation areas of the brain compared to the general population. The study was presented to the Alzheimer's Association but has not been submitted to a journal. Authors say it shows a correlation but not necessarily a causation between soccer and decreased brain health. All right, Jeff.
It's just a coincidence.
There you go. Well, maybe don't use your head so much. Are you a fan of street art, as they call it, or graffiti, or any of those?
Yeah, why not?
Under that umbrella? Well, some walls in Oslo's former industrial district have become giant canvases for street artists. Colorful murals are taking over in the Norwegian capital, and this is for the Meeting of Styles event, where every year street artists take part in showing off their wide range of styles and backgrounds. 40 artists from 21 countries participating, and one mural pays tribute to the Norwegian inventor of the spray can. There you go. Did you know that was a Norwegian inventor?
I did not know. And the winner of this event, a lifetime selection of lutefisk.
And turpentine to wash your hands.